What's up, you motherfuckers? Good to see you. Yeah, so I'm going to talk to you about WWE 2K15. Now, every year since, 2003, I've got every WWE game that's come out. So, Here Comes the Pain was the first one I got when I was serious about watching wrestling. Right, I've owned SmackDown 1, Know Your Role, Just Bring It, and Shut Your Mouth. So, every other game since that, I've pretty much had anyway on every year. So, excitement for 2K15. Yes, brilliant. I thought, it's next gen, so the graphics on the PS4 and the Xbox One are going to be amazing. The gameplay is going to be amazing. It's just going to look more authentic, more real. And I know every year they try and make it look more real, like the real selves, but it still remains kind of arcadey in the ring. It never seems like, wow, these are real people. They don't really acknowledge that. Every year, it just still looks like a video game, like the way it did last year. It never feels like an actual match, like you're playing something real, that they're actual people in an actual match on live TV. But that's just because it's a video game. There's only so far they're going to get with it. So that's not really my cons. My cons with it is this game was pretty much like last year's WWE 2K14, and it just feels like a 2.0 or a DLC package of that game. There's not a lot to do in it. There's like two modes really that are kind of interesting. The first one is the WWE 2K Showcase, and that's pretty much you just play through two rivalries from history. The first one was Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, so you play through that rivalry, and then the second one was CM Punk versus John Cena, and you play through that rivalry, and occasionally you won't play as one of those two characters, you'll play as someone else who was involved in a match that was part of the feud. So if there was a tag team match, or there was a number one contenders match that led to these people facing at another point, you'd play that. So you end up with different characters and different attires because they face each other at different pay-per-views. But it felt more like a chore battling through it. It didn't feel like, I can't wait to see what the next point was. I just kept thinking, my favourite HBK and the game match was Bad Blood, I think it was 2004, where there was in the Hell in a Cell. That was my favourite match. So that was the last match that you play anyway. So you pretty much had to battle through, it was 14 or 15 or 16 matches to get to that point. So by the time I got to it, it was just like a chore. It wasn't like I was excited to be playing it. I wasn't excited for what the match was going to be next time or anything like that. So I felt like it was a slog. It's like instead of being happy going to work, you feel like it's a slog through the day to just try and make it to the end of your shift. That's how I kind of saw it. Did I enjoy the game? Not really. And usually all I do for 1 year is play the full game over and over. I play Universe Mode over and over again. I make new characters over and over. I download new characters over again, just because I love the games that much. This one, it came out on the 31st of November in the UK, and I'm bored of it already, and it's only the 6th of November. And I work pretty much every day of the week, so it's not like I've had a massive load of time to sit there and blaze the game over and over for hours. So the fact that I'm bored of it already, and it's been less than a week, is quite shocking. Now, it's not saying it's a bad game, the graphics are okay, but because I'm playing on the 360 version, it feels like they've half-assed the game. There's the NXT mode. I think it's pretty much established. Not many people really care about NXT. Most people watch Raw and don't even bother watching SmackDown. So they gave us, playthrough modes where the first one you play as Sami Zayn and you play through 4 of the matches in his NXT career, and then that's it. Some of them are quite challenging, some of them are borderline fucking easy. So that's one. Then you play as you can play as Adrian Neville and play 4 of his matches. Some of them challenging, some of them not. Same thing. Then you play as Bo Dallas and you play 4 of his matches. Some of them challenging, some of them not. Then you play as Rusev and play through 4 of his matches. And if it feels repetitive and boring, that's because it is. Okay, just as you start getting used to using characters' movesets, it's only 4 matches, so it's over. And you have these little objectives that you have to perform within the match, and if you miss that objective, you'd either, it's kind of like you fail the match, or you don't get an unlockable, something like that. So it just feels kind of pointless. Like all these characters that I've... So obviously I know that Sami Zayn is El Generico, and Adrian Neville was like Pac, the man that gravity forgot. And then you've got plays Rusev and this guy I'd never heard of before called Cody Greaves. If I'm saying his name wrong, I apologise, but I just never heard of him before. So it just feels kind of pointless, and then it'll just be like your one match you play as Bo Dallas and face, Adrian Neville, and then there'll be a match in Adrian Neville's story where you have to face Sami Zayn. It's like you're just seeing the same characters over and over, and when I've never established interest in them to begin with in real life, it feels a bit forced that I have to use these characters now. I'm not saying that they're bad or that I don't respect their body of work, it just feels like it's kind of forced on you to get involved in this NXT. And then there's an NXT Proving Ground mode, which essentially is the same as last year's Defeat the Streak mode, where you had to face Undertaker, and he was hyped up with amazing stats and he'd kick out of 16 finishers and oh my god moments and all of that. It's the same with just with John Cena. So it's the whole whoever wants to be the future has to go through me. I'm John Cena, Super Cena, Franken Cena, whatever, and you have to play against him using any character you want to create a character, whatever, and he's heightened up. It just feels like the game is just to screw you out. It just feels like the Proving Ground mode just feels like it would have been a DLC mode from last year's game where you'd have to Defeat the Streak and then Proving Ground where you'd have to beat Taker and you have to beat Cena. It just feels kind of forced on you. The Universe mode, not too bad. There's been a little bit of a update on the Rivalry mode where you can set rivalries with certain stipulations about, it's a rivalry based on one-on-one matches or triple threats, things like that. So that's a bit more interesting than last year. But the whole thing just feels lazy. There's no creative finisher mode anymore. The thing that really pissed me off is there's no highlight reel. Where we used to have the instant replay where after you did something in the match you could replay the last minute or 30 seconds, whatever. There's none of that anymore. So I've done some amazing spots and I thought, oh shit, I wish I could see that again, or a counter from a counter from a counter, or some just really good match stuff, and I can't see it again because you can't replay it. There's no highlight reel. Or there's been glitches. There's been several glitches within the match where like Cena's knocked me down and he's gone for a knuckle shuffle, but he's just glitched and kept walking into me and not been able to hit it. Not that I'm complaining, but it just feels like I've played it for a week and there's been probably 15 to 20 glitches. And I mean physical glitches. I know in every WWE game in the last 5 years we've had some serious funny ass glitches to do with body parts morphing and merging with bits in the arena, things like that, and it just felt like shit. It literally, like looking at the graphics as well, it just feels like the last year's game. A few people, they put a bit more detail into them. So Brock Lesnar looks pretty good. His gloves look good. His face make looks good. But for most of the people, it just feels lazy. There's loads of characters I couldn't give two shits about being in the game. Not that I don't like them, I just don't want to play as them. So, I don't want to play as Rusev or Xavier Woods, things like that. We've got quite a few new moves that are quite decent. We've got some additional moves. I pretty much buy the games for Legends and for the new game, for the new moves. I'm not really seeing it this year. The roster's pretty small compared to other years, and the fact there's no career mode in this gen version is quite depressing. So after you've done, your Proving Ground and your NXT mode, which shouldn't take too long, you're just pretty much stuck then having to do the showcase, that's pretty much how you unlock all the characters. You do that. I think it was if you beat John Cena on Proving Ground, then you unlocked all the characters, or you unlock entires by playing the showcase. Like if you don't have a choice, if you want to unlock the full game, you have to play those modes. And I just find it quite boring and repetitive. I played about 10 matches with Cena versus CM Punk in it. So I felt quite disappointed. The next gen version looks different. It looks like a completely different game from what I've seen on YouTube videos of the gameplay and the visuals. The next gen versions, the PS4 version and the Xbox One version, or the current gen one now, seem like the place to be. It seems like the gameplay mechanics, the way that you initiate grapples with the thumbsticks, seems a lot better than you press A, you press up and you try and counter. That feels like, if that's the real gameplay, that would be brilliant. The graphics look brilliant on that one, and it's just you can do more things within the game. It feels like that's going to be a completely different game. Like that isn't going to be WWE 2K14 2.0. It looks like it's going to be WWE 2K15. So whether it's been a marketing thing and they just wanted to make the next gen game look brilliant so people got that one or not, I don't know. But I don't feel why that if that game is that brilliant, why the fans who are on past gen who can't afford a new console or don't want to make that jump right now, or if ever, I don't feel like they should be undercut and given a shitty, shoddy version of the game just because they chose to stay on a previous gen or had no choice. So if the next gen one's good, brilliant, but because they've kept it so secret, they haven't been showing you gameplay videos like they usually do with IGN or official 2K. They usually just show you gameplay or matches or finishes or oh my god moments. They haven't been doing that. So I thought it was because there was this grand scope scheme for the game that they wanted to remain secret because it was going to be awesome, and it turned out that they couldn't hype it up because it's been shit so far. So maybe that's why. But I feel disappointed with the game, and like so many people say, it's just it literally is like WWE 2K14, just a DLC version of it. Nothing about the game has excited me, and usually I go to a person, oh, you need to get the WWE game because it's pretty awesome this year. This year I've gone to people and gone, don't waste your money, it's not worth it, and hopefully the next gen version, or current gen version, PS4, Xbox One, is going to be as good as it looks on the videos. It will be that decent, the graphics will be that good, and apparently there's a career mode with that. I think I'd probably sell my Xbox 360 version just to get the next gen version because it's got a career mode in, so I'm not done with it within a week. I know at least I've got longer than a week, but then I'm going to have to play through all those modes again, unlock all those things with a narrated roster. I just hate the narrow roster. Okay, fine, we've got Bray Wyatt, we've got Luke Harper, we've got Eric Rowan. Brilliant, that's fine. But do I really want to play as Fandango or Big E? Let's be serious, And it just feels like they've put so much effort into some characters and not the rest of them. Some of them just look like they've been copy and pasted from the previous game. And it's just, creative finisher's gone. Admittedly, for me, that was never a good mode just because you could never fulfill what you want. Like, the way you envision a move going in your head, it never works on the game. We've pretty much had the same creative finishing mode without any updates for like the past 5 years. So, but then at the same time, you still like to make kooky finishes that you haven't seen before. You see someone do something on TV and you recreate it. There's moves on Here Comes the Pain that are better than fucking the games now, where it was just like, a good gorilla press or a good power bomb or a good DDT or a double arm DDT, something like that. I just feel like this game is undercut a lot. They've half-assed it. I feel like hopefully it's been shit because they've focused so much on the next gen version being brilliant that they've kind of just gone, we'll bang out this version for the previous gen owners. But I feel like it was just kind of a disappointment to me. It was a waste of money. I'm over and done with it within a week. The roster kind of sucks. There was no legends. There was no like WCW invasion mode. And I was like, because the WWE network in the UK has failed and fallen flat on its face as well, this wasn't the time to be antagonising the customers and the target audience. Like with the network being delayed and then it being delayed again and again. So we're up to about 3 times when it's been delayed. The first time was when they gave it all the hype originally when it first came out, especially like air after a WrestleMania, and then it didn't work, so they just stopped mentioning it at all when they used to mention it in every other sentence. And then it got delayed when the USA got it, so they never told us we wouldn't be getting it straight away. So USA got it, we got told we'd get it later in the year, we didn't get it, and then they set a date we'd get it, that didn't work, then we got another launch date, it's been pushed back till further notice, so it feels like it's the wrong time to just be antagonising all your customers and your target audience. So note for WWE and 2K, that game sucked. And I'm a huge WWE fan. I love the games. I do every year. I buy the fuck out on pre-order just so I can get the unlockables. I always buy every fucking expansion pack. I pretty much usually just get the season pass and buy everything that's within the game, just so I have all the extra characters. I invest a lot of money in this shit, and I don't expect to spend the same amount of money I did last year for a game that isn't as good as last year's game, but they put less effort into it. I know every year you've got to make the game better and better, push the boundaries and do something better than they did last year. Eventually they will run out of ideas, things to do, but I feel like they shouldn't hype up the game like as good as it is now for how shit it was. People to talk about how good the game is, and they've been playing WWE 2K14 and blah 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 blah. Usually they do that. Last year they did it, where they're playing the game and they just try to advertise it on Raw, going, "Oh look, I'm playing the game. I'm playing as this person." This year they haven't done that. It hasn't had the exposition that it normally has. So maybe that's just some indication that they just weren't in it. Maybe they focused too much on the network this year. Maybe the money hasn't been there, or maybe they haven't had the time to really focus on it. But I feel like the previous gen version was not up to standard. If it was like out of 5, I'd give it like a 2. Last year's game would have got a 4. No game's perfect. It would have got a 4, right? This year's probably got a 2, maybe a 3 if I'm being nice. But I'm hoping that when the next gen version comes out, just waiting a couple of days to see, on YouTube how good it is, what the difference is between this one and whether it's worth investing more money making a leap to the next gen version. But right now I feel disappointed. in the game. So if you love WWE,